It's about okay. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. All right, here we go. We're going live in three, two, one. Well, this is Olivia on Air, episode number 6 with Olivia. Olivia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I noticed when we were talking earlier, you had a big rainstorm. And I looked on the radar, and I couldn't believe how much rain was coming down in your area. That was pretty.
Yeah, the thunder near my house was like the loudest that I've heard in a really long time. It was like usually thunder doesn't really scare me, but this one, like some of them actually sounded like they were really close to my house, and it was like really kind of scary. My dog was shaking. I felt so bad.
I'm gonna bring up the radar for you where you're at right now. Yeah, that's pretty nasty looking.
It
That's all.
was insane.
Are you
It's
still
it's
are you
it's
still
like drizzling now.
Oh, it is? Okay. Okay. Some of the areas and they're still getting the bright red, which is like really intense. So, goodness. I don't like I don't like those kind of storms only because I'm afraid I'm going to lose power and I'm not going to be able to I don't know, maybe power go out for a few days or something, which has happened to me in the past, which is really annoying, especially when it's in like say the middle of winter or something and the temperatures are below freezing. So,
Yeah, power outages are just the worst, especially if it's like warm because you can't really take your skin off and you can always put layers on if you're cold.
mhm. So you say it's just a drizzle, no power out, nothing too severe then right now.
Right, yeah, the power like went out for literally like maybe 5 seconds and then it came back on. I think just because Florida is like kind of like there's a massive rainy season and so I feel like if power outages were common, it would be kind of pathetic just because, if it happens all the time, we should be prepared for, you know, power outages and stuff like that to happen.
I would think. I mean, considering that like Florida is one of the states that gets, I mean, really affected by the hurricane season, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not great to have like a super anxious dog, but one of my dogs, I have two. One of my dogs is really okay with it. Beverly, she's like totally fine with thunder. She doesn't really care. But my other dog, Sammy, is so scared of it. Sometimes she gets anxious because he's anxious, but she doesn't really care about the thunder. I just think that's so interesting because for a while I thought all dogs were just afraid of thunder, but I guess not.
What is it? The dog that's in your avatar there?
There's two in there. It's kind of hard to see. It's like I feel like it's kind of an exposed picture, but the one in the pink harness, the one in the forefront of the photo, um, she's she doesn't really care about thunder, but the one in like further in the back. It's kind of really hard to see the
Yeah,
two,
I'm
but
trying, yeah, I'm trying to look there. I can't see. I only see one dog in the foreground.
that one's probably that's Sammy. The one that is easier to see is Sammy, and he's scared of thunder really bad. I'm thinking about getting him a thunder jacket. They're these like I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're these like kind of compression jackets that weighted blankets for people.
No, I'm not familiar with that. What is that? What is that? Is that like a medical thing or something?
Yeah, kind of. It's like if you have like bad anxiety, sometimes um a weighted blanket can help ease that anxiety. It's like maybe like 20 pounds or something. It might feel like I don't know. I guess it probably feels like someone laying on top of you or something like that. It's just like kind of weighing you down, and I don't know. It's like kind of helpful for some people.
Interesting.
And the same kind of thing applies to dogs. It's like getting swaddled, I guess.
The do dogs like to be held down though? I was maybe I would imagine like maybe younger puppies. Maybe I'm not. I've never had any dogs of my own, so I don't know. I would imagine. I mean, most of the pets I have get really anxious, like cats and everything else. Though, if you start to hold them down, they get really angry and they want to be released. Well, my cats are usually pretty easygoing. I'll take that back. Cats are usually they're like whatever, but some people's cats get really freaked out if you start to do that.
I mean, it definitely depends on the dog, and the jackets are like they're more compressed. It's like getting swaddled more than a weighted blanket, but it has the same effect. So with like, I don't know. I guess the compression of the jacket just kind of helps them. I don't know what effect it is. I don't know what the medical thing is, but it helps with anxiety in dogs a lot, especially with like thunderstorms and fireworks and stuff like that. So,
Hmm. Do you have fireworks? Well, with the fireworks coming up, I guess for 4th of July, is there anything that's are you having a lot of that right now?
not right now, but I know every 4th of July, we always have to sit in the closet with my dogs so they don't freak out.
That's
We
pretty fun.
always sit in there and like play white noise and just wait for the fireworks to end. It's honestly really annoying. And I wish they had like designated places where they could do fireworks and they like didn't let people put fireworks off into all hours of the night because like my dogs are up all night just freaking out. And I know that fireworks are super fun and like pyrotechnics is fun and stuff like that, but my dogs are full of anxiety and it's super annoying and kind of rude.
So the fireworks in your area, is it legal where you are? I'm not like, can you like launch like bottle rockets and things like that?
I'm not sure. I don't really know the legality of all that. Um, I'd say for me personally, right now, especially in like a in a situation where a pyrotechnics gender reveal kind of blew up, like a bunch of forest in California, maybe not playing with it would be a good idea. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, um, maybe not setting off fireworks just around in your neighborhood
Yeah, yeah.
willy nilly, unless you're an expert or you're really well researched, I guess. But I
I,
don't know.
the where I'm at in Virginia, there you can have like fountains, and the fountains can make really loud whistles and all that. Basically, you can have anything that doesn't launch into the air, but that doesn't mean you won't see that. There are plenty of people that have those anyway. They're all over the place.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
don't know. I think it's risky, and I it's just annoying for to have dogs and like have to stay up with them and comfort them all night.
the I'll tell you one more thing about that. It, West Virginia, which is not too far from where I'm at, it'd be like maybe an hour and a half drive or so. But if you go into West Virginia, I've never done this, but my best friend, he and I've been friends since we were 10 years old. He lives pretty much closer to the line, and he goes into West Virginia to buy what would be technically illegal fireworks, which is illegal in Virginia and West Virginia. But because he's a Virginia resident, they'll sell it to him because he has a Virginia driver's license, so he can drive it, pick it up, and buy it and drive it back to Virginia without any problem. I don't know why they do that, but they do. I do remember years ago we used to get together and he would have all these illegal fireworks and we just shoot them up into the air every 4th of July. It's just for fun.
Yeah, there's that one place. I don't know if it's in West Virginia. I think it might be in either a Virginia or either a Virginia or a Carolina state. That one place is called south of the border.
Oh yes, yes, South Carolina. Yes, I know exactly.
Okay, yeah. Me and my parents went there because we were driving down from Maryland, and yeah, it's an interesting place. I think they sell fireworks there and like candy and bugs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm bringing it up here. Here we go. I'll bring up some pictures of this. Yeah, for people who are not familiar with this, yeah, this is quite an experience to see. I mean, the images that you see are all yeah. I remember going there twice. I've been there twice in my life. Once when I was like 3 years old. I barely remember it. My dad took some pictures, but once again when I was like about 20, my friend Trevor, again the same guy, we decided to drive across country, and this is one of the stops we went to, and we stopped there in the middle of the night. There was nobody there, but all the fireworks places were wide open, ready to sell. It's like it was so bizarre.
Yep, that's the exact same place. Oh, I sat on one of those. I think I sat on that one on like a dinosaur or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was fun. I think they had like a ice cream store. We went in there. That was good.
Hmm. Oh, yeah, unfortunately, when we stopped there, the thermostat in my car had gone bad, and I had to sit there and repair it for like an hour. So I was more concerned about getting the car back on the road again. I mean,
Yeah,
so
that
it was a
sucks.
pain. But and like I said, it was the middle of the night, but it was so weird. It was like it was open for business, but just nobody was there. It was
Yeah, like deserted or like if you go in a video game to like a store area and no other like characters have spawned and you're like the only one there.
Yeah, exactly. The and you can see here's all the some of the pictures of all the fireworks. There's all over.
Yeah.
I think we got like the ones I forget what they're called. I think they're the ones in the foreground here. Let me say, bring this up where you launch little fireballs out of them. Roman, I want to say Roman candles. I think that's what they're called. So anyway, it's fun. I would recommend anybody just to stop here just for to feel that it's something very unique.
Yeah, for sure.
If you never,
Yeah. And it's like smaller fireworks like that. That's like not really a problem. They're not like super disruptive or dangerous or anything. So I feel like that's a nice place to go. I think I got a keychain.
oh, did you? That's cool. Yeah, this image right here, whatever this one is, I think that's the most prevalent image I've seen. And of course, they're all over the place. I think that's the one from. I think that was there when I was a little kid too, when I was like 3 years old. So
Yeah. Are there multiple south of the border things?
I think it's the only one. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
When I did a search, the only one that came up was the one in South Carolina. So it's basically if you're on Interstate 95. For those who are wondering, it's if you're going south, it's as soon as you cross over from North Carolina into South Carolina, it's right there. So and it's in the middle of especially in the middle of the night, it just stands out like a sore thumb. You're like, whoa, what's this? And you're like, this is really neat. And you automatically have to stop by, especially if it's nighttime. You just got to see what's going on. So
Definitely. It's super fun.
is that a ride? Oh no, no, I don't know what that is. I don't remember
That's a
seeing.
sombrero.
I
It
can see.
looks like a
I was wondering though, it was like, do you go up that? Like maybe, maybe just you go up there and look at the top, like just to see the view or something, maybe.
maybe. Or maybe it's like a some sort of like electrical tower or something.
Hmm.
I don't know. That looks like something that people would go up and see from. I don't remember that, but
I don't remember that either. So, all right. Well, would you like to check our question from last week?
of course.
Let me see. Whoops. Let me see if I have it here. I know I brought it up earlier. Here in a second here. There we go. So, the question was, do you like rock and roll music? And this was 2 weeks ago, or just about 2 weeks ago. 3,900 votes altogether. 74% with yes. Next down, 12% with no. 7% with no, but only older rock music, and 7% with I don't care. Let me put these. Let me put these newest to oldest. Metal Brother, uh, Radio Los Santos. Have you played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas at all?
I have not played the San Andreas one. I think I've only played the latest one that's been released.
Oh, Grand Theft. I think we went through this. Grand Theft Auto 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The yeah, Radio Los Santos is exclusive to San Andreas. I don't think it's on Grand Theft Auto 5. I might be wrong in that, but I know it's definitely very popular on San Andreas, the game San Andreas. So, uh,
Yeah. The GTA radios are like really well done. I feel like a lot of players really appreciate those. That's like an interesting conversation to have eventually, you
yeah,
know.
the guy who programmed he actually his name was Laszlo. He actually plays a character in the video game as well by the same name. So.
That's cool. Yeah.
Let's see. Next one down says, "I love rock, dude," with the little fingers, the little hand. I don't know what that. I know what the gesture is. I don't know what it's called, but the finger with the
Yeah.
index finger and the pinky going up forever. What is that? What is that? I forget what it's called. I want to say like I want to say a bullhead or something like that.
I always associate it with like the term rock on or
Okay.
rock and roll. I think it might be because of either School of Rock with Jack Black or Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. I do not know which one.
Okay. Well, that's been around for. I know it's been around longer than both of those movies.
Oh yeah, for sure. But that's just where like I heard
Oh,
the term for it first, I guess.
gotcha. I don't like rock and roll music. I like the rock. So does that mean the actor, the wrestler, or does that mean maybe the movie called The Rock? I'm not sure. Or maybe he's just saying rock as in rock music, calling it The Rock. So yeah, I like hip hop, but the metal music is the one I like, or hard rock is in rock music a lot history. Hmm? With the music, I'm not sure what that means.
Kind of cryptic there.
Yeah, let's see what the 6 replies. I'm not gonna. I won't go through all these. It's basically they're talking back and forth to each other. Classic rock is the best. I wish today they would still make music like the good old day. Country music is my favorite. And what was that say? Oh,
It
oh,
says, okay, thumbs up.
oh, is it okay? Okay, we can read it. Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm glad you can read that. So, I'm not. I don't know about you. I'm not a fan of. I don't know if we discussed this before or not. I'm not a big fan of modern day country music. So sorry. I can tolerate the older stuff. There was a transition during the 1990s or so where it just went. It just changed. It just really did. I don't know. It's just not my style at all. I'm not sure how.
Yeah, same. I
Okay.
mean, I don't mind it if it's on, but it's not something that I would ever choose.
I worked in a place where the guy we it was in a we when this is years ago before I got into radio. I used to work in different shops working on cars, and one of the guys that worked with me had a radio, and he just played country music, and it just drove me crazy all day long. He would just play country music, couldn't stand.
Yeah.
And if there's country music that came from the 1970s, which is actually okay. It kind of has like a mix of rock to it, so it's not too bad. And it's just that where that transition takes place, I don't remember where exactly during the 80s or 90s, where it just took a turn for the worse for me. So sorry for the people who like the country music. That's not my thing.
Yeah, same. I feel like 70s music, it's hard for me to differentiate between like I guess the line between folk music and country music in the 70s is just kind of blurry for me. So I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like I feel like they were much more similar and it was easier to tell the difference. Whereas
Hmm.
now I feel like it's much more of a easy thing to differentiate between.
Yeah, and folk music during the early 70s was also part of the hippie movement too. There's a lot of folk music for that. So it's
Right.
kind of a cross between like rock, very much of a cross between rock and country sometimes. So I can't cite any examples. I just remember that from the kind of music I listen to every once in a while. So all right. So how do you feel about the results on there? I that sounds about average, I think.
Yeah.
The As far as I'm trying to think. No one talks about any other kind of music. So, I do like the rock music. I think I might have said this before. The problem I have with classic rock stations though is they only have a playlist of like 200 songs that they play over and over again. And
Yeah, it really gets tiring. I mean, like there's certain songs that I'll never get tired of, like Hotel California or something like that, but
oh, I
there's other ones that are just like,
I got a story about Hotel California. My friend Trevor and I, same guy that I've been talking about. We used to go when we were younger. We used to hang out the old video arcades, and there was this one video arcade. Every time we walked in, it was just they always had Hotel California playing on the jukebox in the back. Every time we walked in, it was always playing, no matter when we walked in. It was I guess whoever, I don't know if it was the person that owned the place, probably not, but maybe it's whoever it was, they loved that song. It was always on every time we walked in there. So
yeah, I guess it would be the owner. They can do what they want, I guess. But yeah, I guess I would be bored of it if I heard it like all the time like that, you know?
yeah, it did get a little obnoxious because I was only in the sense because it was like every time, and not only that, it would stop and then start over again. So
Oh, geez. Yeah, if it was like on repeat, I don't think I would like it. But every once in a while, it's all right.
so you got a question for this week for our viewers.
Well, I'm thinking about coffee right now, like a lot. Not sure why. Maybe something like do you make your own coffee at home or something like that?
You make
Could
your
be
own
good.
coffee. Okay, so you're like a coffee fiend.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I'm kind of getting into it. There's a lot of like there's a lot of facets of coffee that I didn't know about. Um, and there's like it's kind of like wine, but I guess I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but wine connoisseurs might think that coffee um, is like pedestrian. I don't know if that makes sense,
Yeah, I can see that. I can see people saying that for sure.
but I think it has the same level of complexity or similar level of complexity for
So do
sure.
you go to like a Starbucks or anything? Is that one of your places?
There's a few things I like at Starbucks. I go to like I'm not like loyal to any one place, and I feel like trying new cafes and stuff is really fun. So I'll kind of go anywhere, see how it is, unless it has like really bad reviews, I guess.
No, you're talking to one of the few people that's probably never drank coffee in his entire life. So I have had coffee when I used to eat ice cream a lot. I did eat a lot of coffee ice cream though, so I don't know if that counts as far as anything, but that's about the
Coffee
close.
ice cream is my favorite flavor. It's really good.
I liked it. I liked it. I was whenever there was any that's something like the chocolate was out, I'd get that instead. So,
Yeah.
um,
Okay, I guess another response would be I don't drink coffee is probably a good one.
I was thinking that maybe, I like tea maybe.
Yeah.
I'll make that another response. I don't drink coffee. I prefer tea, so it's not the same thing.
Tea is really good too. I feel like
Oops.
um tea is good for like if you're like feeling bad or if you need to sleep or something.
Hmm.
As long as
I
it's decaf, I guess.
I would drink tea periodically, and not as much as other things. The one thing I did like was the like I would like someone would bring in like these assorted flavors of tea that were so out there that were different that would actually sound taste kind of different. I can't remember off the top. I just remember like there was the regular taste of tea, and then there was like these exotic flavors that would come in just in regular tea bags, but they tasted so different. I remember having those. Um,
That's cool.
I would my preference though at the when I was at work if they had a coffee or tea machine was usually if they had hot chocolate I'd take the hot chocolate instead. So
That makes sense, yeah. I mean, coffee definitely isn't for everyone.
and even if it was like the middle of summertime I'd still drink hot chocolate. So do you have another answer? I was thinking maybe I don't care maybe like the usual.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, look through that. Make sure I didn't misspell something. I misspelled something last time and they always give me a hard time when I do that. Let's see. Do
You're
you
good to go. I think is no nay again.
There we go. I don't drink coffee. I prefer tea. I don't care. Okay. Looks good. Right? Does that look good?
Yep.
Alrighty. And we'll come back to that one. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, you know what? It's up here. That's why. Oh, come on. Sometimes it rearranges. There we go. Cool. Okay, we can come back to that. So the movie this guy decided to watch this week was Napoleon Dynamite. And from 2004. I hadn't seen the movie since it first came out, so I rewatched it again. What was your experience?
I remember first watching it. I think I watched it at kind of the perfect age because it's kind of I feel like if I watched it for the first time now, I would be like some of the jokes I'd be like, oh, that's kind of like immature and a little bit dumb, um, because a lot of them are, but in like a good way. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I watched it for the first time when I was about like 12 or 13, and I was cackling the whole time. I thought it was so funny, and it was like almost relatable. It was relatable to like the awkward side of being a teenager. So that was also like comforting in a way to be like, "Oh, okay. People, there's other kids out there like this, and like it's okay." The end of the movie is kind of like it'll work out. It's fine. I don't know. That's what I got from it. So
So are you saying you could relate to the teenagers then? Is that what you're saying basically?
definitely, when I was a preteen, I was such a little dweeb, and I definitely liked doing the those like I called it GIMP, but the ones what she has in her box, we did that at summer camp like a lot. So
I forget her name off the top of my head, but yeah, this. How do you feel about the stiffness of the characters that are in the movie? I mean, it's obviously intentional,
I
but
think it's so funny. I think the way that all of them are so stiff compared to like I don't know. I guess Uncle Rico is like not stiff in a physical way, but he's very emotionally kind of like a rock. He tries to be, and like
trying to get up to him.
LaFonda. She's like so opposite to that.
There you go.
And I love how they contrast each other and it just like works perfectly. I also love how that furniture is so small. It doesn't make any sense.
The
It's so
I,
funny.
I didn't even catch that. The was it the did you know that there is a cartoon that came out after this as well?
I think I heard of it. I haven't watched it, but I like saw pictures and stuff.
Okay. And it was actually voiced by the same people who did who played the characters in the movie. But for some reason, who's the character? Who was her name again? You just mentioned it. The woman that he falls in love with and gets married to.
LaFonda?
LaFonda, yes. Her character was completely written out for some reason. So,
Oh.
and it makes you feel like, well, that's kind of sad for him because it's like he found his true love, but it's like he's back to being,
Yeah, they
loveless.
were married. That's so sad.
I think it was only on for like a few episodes. It wasn't very long. I was looking up things for our little chat we're having. I came across that. And I think they said there were only like 6 episodes and it didn't do very well, so they just pulled the plug on it completely. So
Yeah. I feel like if they tried to reboot it or do a sequel now, it just would not translate. I don't think it would be as good. This is like one of those once in a blue moon kind of movies where it's kind of like Scott Pilgrim. I don't know if you've seen that one with
no, I've
Michael
not.
Cera. It's kind of similar, but it's much more modern. Um, and the characters are cooler. So Chris Evans is in it actually. He plays Captain America, so that's cool. Um, but yeah, I think that's kind of a similar movie, but this is just one of a kind.
There's another movie that was on. This was a MTV production. There was another MTV production that came out. I think it was '96. Jerry. What's I forget his first last name. He played the main character. I have to look it up. It was called Oh my goodness, I don't remember. Hold on a second. It was a bunch of he lived in an apartment, Joe's apartment. I think it was called Joe's apartment, maybe. And it had a bunch of cockroaches. Several. I mean, the whole movie is basically animated cockroaches. Um, but it was one that you talked about is like unique in its own. That was very unique in its own. It had a similar quality sometimes to this one, probably because it was produced by MTV. Um, but you're talking about like independent movies. That one was not very popular. This one was very popular, obviously, but this one it still had that same kind of feel of being very unique. It's a movie I would recommend. A lot of people hate it for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why,
Yeah,
but
my mom doesn't like it. I
oh,
don't
really?
I don't know why.
Have you seen it?
Hmm?
Have you seen it?
Oh, this movie. She doesn't like Napoleon
Oh,
Dynamite.
this movie. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. The anyway, the Jerry O'Connell, that's the guy's name. I didn't look it up. I just remembered off the top of my head. So, but he's pretty good at. He's always I always like him whenever he's any movie he's in. But getting back to this one, John Heder, that's the guy that played Napoleon in this one.
Yeah.
Was according to the trivia section I'm looking at right now, was only paid $1,000 to pay
Jeez.
play the role. The movie grossed over $40 million.
Oh my god, I hope he got a little more. Cuz that was like such an incredible performance. Like I feel like there's probably a lot of indie movies that I definitely haven't seen that might have the same kind of level of um comedy and like oddity, I guess. But I feel like this one stands out because of how accessible it is to like everyone.
Except for your mother, that is.
Yeah.
So
I
what
think she said that um I don't I feel like maybe she said that she used to have a friend that looked like Napoleon Dynamite and people would make fun of him or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure.
the interesting thing, I did watch an interview with him. What was his friend's name? The one that was from Mexico. I forget his friend's name in this. Uh,
Pedro. Vote for Pedro.
Pedro, and then the uncle. There was a live, like it was like a reunion like 10 years after the movie came out. It's on YouTube where the three of them, the actors, just came on, and John Heder here, he obviously doesn't act anything like this. He's completely different. In real life, he kind of reminded me of a guy I used to work with many years ago that I kind of didn't like, but he added a little bit of charm to it, so I kind of liked. it was like I didn't like him at first, but I was like, okay, he's not exactly like the guy I used to know, so I kind of warmed up to him a little bit. So he didn't seem too bad.
I should check that out. I don't think I heard that they did that. That's cool.
Yeah, it was like one of those morning news shows. Like it was like a 10-minute long interview between the three of them, and then like the 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 host or whatever just cackling on as they're talking about the movie. So the film itself, bring up more trivia, was shot in 22 days.
Oh my goodness. That's so cool.
I could see that actually. Now, the one thing that they did talk about that was interesting was the setting, the location. How it's out in the middle of the a very rural area, not in a very suburban area, um, which is also something. Usually, you see a movie that's very more. Most movies are not done in this kind of area. What do you think about that?
I definitely think it's interesting. I think that I didn't think about it before, but that's a really good point. This was in Idaho, right?
Yes.
So this was, I feel like it's harder to, I'm not gonna like, um, get this message across eloquently, I feel, but I feel like it's harder to make an interesting movie with kind of a more boring environment or a more plain environment. Whereas, like, if you filmed, no, actually, this is eloquent. If you film like a movie in New York City or something, or like Los Angeles, or like a city, or at least a town with like more than three houses every 5 miles, you might get, it's kind of more visually entertaining. And so I feel like you kind of have to put more effort into the characters and like, I guess the small things in the scenes, like indoors, to get
Mhm.
like the same kind of effect, I
Okay.
think, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah. And the I it's I don't really, I can't really add to that, but I do like the uniqueness of this idea. So I don't know. I can't really think to add too much to
That's so funny.
going through the different scenes in here. I don't think there are no stars in this, are there? They're all pretty much no names, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Uh,
This is so funny, Jesus Christ.
the Let me see if there's any more. Oh, okay. The movie featured one of the longest credited cast lists in movie history. It says all 181 student extras names are listed in the closing credits. Interesting. I didn't know that. This is the end here. Okay, well, I guess we can't see that there. Of course, there was the closing. There was the after credit scene, which at the time was not a very popular thing. So, um, I do remember when I was younger, I used to purposely sit in movie theaters, just to the very end, just to see if there was going to be a after credit scene, and very rarely did they ever have one. This is one of those few exceptions for the time it came out that I remember anyway. So,
That's so true. I never thought of that. I feel like after seeing all the Marvel movies, I've just kind of like become accustomed to sitting and waiting until the end, like the very end. But that's so true. I guess this one and like other ones, like you said, select other ones from that time kind of started that out.
yeah, the another one that I can think of that's very obvious would be the 1985 movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. If you ever seen that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then another one that's not too many people know. This is kind of interesting. I saw the movie when it was brand new. Young Sherlock Holmes. We were watching in the theater, and nobody expected an end of credits scene, an after credits scene. So as everyone's getting ready to leave, as the credits were rolling, one of the people from the theater actually walked in, started yelling, not yelling just to get everyone's attention, really loudly, saying that if there's an extra scene at the end of the movie after the credits, you have to sit back and watch this. And so everybody, I don't know, everybody, a lot of people actually waited for the end. And I don't remember really adding much to the movie. I think it was like whatever character that supposedly got killed off actually supposedly survived or something, like a tease of some sort. So
That's cool. Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard of that movie.
yeah, I don't remember. I don't think it was very. It's so long ago. It was not a Christopher Doyle was the, I can't remember his name now, who wrote the novels. It's not based on any of his stories. It's just a story that's based off of his stuff. And young Sherlock Holmes is not a canon in any way, as far as I know. But it was just him basically being before he was an adult, obviously. So
Right.
I don't
Okay.
really. It's very long ago, so I can't really remember. I can't give you much more than that. So
That's all right. That's all right.
let's see. So the one I remember when you first suggested the movie to me, all I remembered was the dance scene with Napoleon at the very end, and it's the only thing I remembered. And for some reason, when I watched the movie, I'm thinking to myself, we're getting close to the end. And it's like, where's the dance scene? It's like, oh, it's at the end of the movie. And for some reason, I thought the dance scene with Napoleon was was like the main focus of the entire movie. That's how much I remembered it. So,
I
um,
feel like that's probably the most popular part because it's such an amazing dance. So that's probably like what it's most remembered for.
mhm. And what's his name? John Heder. I don't remember if he said it was choreographed or not. I don't know if he just came up there and just did it randomly.
I
Um,
hope that's what happened. I hope that's what happened.
Uh, let's see. Okay, now I'm going to read one of these trivias without fully reading it first ahead of time. Let's see. Idaho unanimously passed a bill praising Jared Hess, excuse me, and I forget the other name for making. Oh, the two Hesses who are making the film. I can't pronounce the other name. Can't see it here. Citing amongst the reasons that the Preston High School administration and staff, particularly the cafeteria staff, have enjoyed notoriety and worldwide attention, and Peter Tots, figuring prominently in the film, have promoted Idaho's most famous export.
That's so yeah, that's funny. I think it's also interesting how those like little scenes where they're testing the chicken eggs or they're getting the chicken eggs.
Is it?
Are they taking them out and then they just get a bunch of nickels? That's such like a I feel like that would be such an such like it's like a scene that would be so easy to make boring, but for some reason it's just like you just want to keep watching it. I mean, like I do, I guess. It's just kind of it's just it like sort of interesting.
Which scene was that? I'm sorry because I don't remember which was where in the movie was that? Do you remember?
I think a little earlier maybe.
Was that
They
where
were like
was
that
this?
one. They
Okay.
were they were picking up the chickens and like and getting the eggs and everything and then they were paid in like eggs, egg yolk, bread and coins.
Oh, is that what they were? Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, I missed the part where they're getting paid. So that's why I was wondering what you meant by that. Okay, okay. I
Just like such a it should be a boring scene that's like kind of weird to watch, but you just want to keep watching because it is so weird, I guess.
with the were they actually drinking? Is that okay? So this is where they're counting the coins. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what happened? I was watching the movie and I think I turned my head away, and that's what I missed. I missed that part altogether. So
Yeah, I never watched the part where they eat the egg. It's so gross.
see,
They just drink. That's so nasty to me personally.
just because they're raw eggs.
Ew. Yes.
Okay. So how about eggs in general? Are you against eggs like scrambled eggs or anything?
I don't love them that much. Sometimes I'll have an omelet, but they're not my favorite thing because it's just so slimy. It's a texture thing for me. They're just so slimy. And then there's that one white squiggly part. I don't like that.
Oh,
It's weird, and I don't know what it is, and I don't want to look it up. It looks wrong.
yeah. When I'll eat scrambled eggs on a regular basis. I will scramble enough to get the white part out. So, when I was younger, it used to bother me, like what you're saying. But as I got older, it's just like it doesn't really. I don't really care anymore for some reason. So, but I do.
Hopefully, I grow out of that because I like the flavor, but it's just I can't get past the slime.
Uh, I remember when I was very young. It bothered me a lot, and I don't know why. My mother had to pull it out for me. So, but I can relate. I can relate. It's just I just kind of evolved, I guess. So,
Hopefully, I'll also evolve because it would be nice to like have that breakfast food
no, who is?
often. You know.
Uh-huh. Aaron Rule. Who is he? Hold on a second. I'm trying to figure out who he is. Which character? Okay, here's Aaron. Here he is right here. Who is he in the movie? I'm trying to remember who he
Is
was.
that Kip?
I don't. Let me go back to the trivia. I'll look at the trivia. It says right here. It says he had braces put on his teeth for this
That's
role, and two orthodontists are thanked in the credits for that. That's interesting.
yeah, that's Kip. He doesn't look a lot like it, but Napoleon's brother Kip.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. The okay. Oh, so oh wow. Okay, I didn't. So wait a minute. It's hold on a second. So the one with the glasses, the one that where he marries the woman at the end.
Yeah,
Okay, I can't remember all their names. Sorry.
it's okay. He doesn't look like almost anything like the character he played.
Yeah,
Impressive.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah, I had braces when I was a kid, and I hated those. I would hate to have something like that put on my teeth. Oh my goodness. So
And for a movie, I feel like that's real dedication.
yeah, really. I mean, I wonder if they put on braces that were like maybe just not as tough as the ones I had to wear because they were painful. They were oh, it was awful. I hated that. They're constantly pulling like what they did is I had four teeth in the front that were sticking out a little too far, so it pulled back on those four, and they had the rear molar or my molars hadn't come in yet, but the ones that were furthest back were the ones that were pulling back all the time. So it was just constantly pain in my rear teeth and my front teeth. Oh,
That sounds horrible.
yeah, and some people had braces on all their teeth. I only had them on those six teeth, the four front and the two in the back. I was just so glad when they, after a year or whatever it was, they finally came off. And I did wear a nasty retainer after that too. That was gross. So
That sucks. I feel like I'm lucky. I never had to have braces. I wanted them because they look cool, but
yeah, if I didn't get them, two of my teeth were kind of really kind of like almost like buck teeth. Not those two in the front, but the two just to the left and right of the two front teeth. They were really far out, so I definitely needed to have them. Otherwise, I'd look kind of well. Not that I probably look awkward enough right now as it is, but the teeth are make me look even more awkward, is what I'm saying. So, let's see. John Heder, that's Napoleon helped to make the Boondangle keychains. Oh, are those the ones with the what's that the girl was selling? Is that the one?
I think so. Yeah. They go by different names for like different areas, I guess.
Was there a liger in the movie? Do you remember that?
Yes.
What
He
was?
that's his favorite animal.
Oh,
Is a liger. It's a lion and a tiger mixed together.
according to the trivia, it says the liger is a real animal created when a male lion mates with a female tiger. Uh,
Yeah, and allegedly it's pretty messed up because like they I think like when two big cat breeds mix together, their babies usually have some sort of disability or deformity.
oh,
So
okay,
that's really sad, but people will breed them just to see what they look like.
gotcha, gotcha. Now this van, since I'm still here, this van, it's it looks like they were trying to capture you probably don't you may or may not you probably never seen them, but there was a lot of vans that during the 70s that would just had these really artistic pictures on the side. And I thought they were trying to capture that a little bit, but that's not exactly what this van is. This is more of a camping van. So um
Yeah, and it says Santana on the side. The band. Do you think it's like the band, or was that like the brand of van?
that's I was thinking is my first thought was the band, but I've never heard of maybe Santana was it was obviously Dodge was the one that made it because you could see it on the hood.
Oh,
But so I'm thinking maybe Santana would be the people who maybe made the camping equipment part of it. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
uh,
probably.
what I was thinking of what might have looked a little funnier, but of course, yeah, I don't want to change perfection in any way. But let me show you. You may have seen these. Like I said, you don't see these at all anymore. Let's see if I forgot what they call these. I'll show you what the vans look like from the 1970s.
I
These,
think I've seen a few because my
here,
parents would do like a lot of outdoor stuff. Oh yeah, definitely. That would be cool.
yeah,
My
the
parents did a lot of like outdoor activities with me. We would go to car shows every now and then. So I've seen a few like painted RVs that look really really cool and vans like that, like stuff like that.
okay, yeah, these things were all over the place during the 70s, and they died off in the 80s. You can go you can go anywhere anywhere you want. You would eventually see one of these, at least a couple of them a day, probably wherever you went. You'd definitely see them, maybe even more than that. So The like you go if inside it was like you had like music, a stereo system, whatever. This one had the padded carpeting. So,
Shag carpet in your purple van.
uh-huh. But yeah, this that's like I said, when I first saw the van, I thought they were trying to go for that look, but obviously that's not because he was more as a just a camping van. So I didn't. I was trying to figure out what they were going with that kind of design of van that he had there. So
I wonder where they got that.
we probably just bought it on eBay or something.
Yeah, that's like I don't know if this is gonna sound weird, but do you wonder how that smelled? Like I feel like that could not have smelled like a good like
Probably
a
not, but
clean van.
I will say this: it's very clean on the outside, very clean. There's no rust.
Yeah,
So
that's true. That's true. It has been well taken care of.
so either that or they maybe just they sprayed or painted over the rust a little bit so you couldn't see it for the movie. So
Maybe.
um and it's hard to tell. I don't know. It might have smelled pretty bad inside for all I know. So uh he gets they kind of get together at the end, right? He and the girl. How's that work exactly? I forgot now. Let me get to the um
So he,
they play the game with the there. That's what I was trying to get to.
yeah,
This part. They never really establish if they're together though, right?
I don't think so. I feel like the end of Napoleon Dynamite is more like I don't really know how to vocalize it, but it's kind of for me when I was a teen watching it, it was like, oh, trying to be in a relationship and trying to be like a cool kid isn't really what's necessary, and it's kind of like that point is kind of driven home with the song that's played. It's by When in Rome, called "The Promise," I think, and
Okay.
it's just I feel like it's kind of sort of in a way it's saying like just focus on being a kid and just like have a fun time where you are right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like he tries. I don't know if they were trying to go for a deeper meaning at all, but I feel like he tries through the whole thing like to make himself cooler and like go out with like the coolest girl in school. But then at the end, he's just he's like, okay, I'm just gonna play this ball game with this girl that is also you know has the same interests as me and isn't like a super cool person, like stereotypically. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Oh yeah, I said and I agree with that. I agree with that idea to get all together there. It's I was just trying to figure out where they were going with that, and they wrapped it up pretty well. I was just the I just of course I was trying to I hate to say this, but I was kind of distracted when I was watching it too. So I was hoping I didn't miss too many scenes as well. So that was my because I was like did they did that's what I was asking. They did or did not get together. What I was asking when we first started. It was like okay, your explanation makes a lot of sense now. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're just hanging out. That's kind of the end thing.
I think I've seen kids like him in school, if I can remember correctly. The character that is, the way he acts and everything. It's hard to remember. Not too many kids were like that though. So he's kind of like almost an exaggeration, obviously, of different people in my like a couple of different people I can remember in school. I don't remember too many people being that out there though, like him. So
Yeah, I feel like each character is like a kind of a wild exaggeration of um I guess they're stereotyped kind of person, you know what I'm saying? Like he's like an extreme version of what is stereotypically a nerd. And like that one blonde guy that was the boyfriend to I think her name was Summer. Was
um,
that the popular girl? Those like the popular kids were the extreme versions of the popular kid stereotype, and the Uncle Rico was like the extreme version of a weird uncle.
okay,
So
okay, I can see that. Yeah, uh, the kids as far as yeah, they didn't really have much of a prominent role except they basically being disgusted with having to go out with with Napoleon, basically the girls that is. I mean, they didn't really have much more in the movie, right?
I don't
Um,
think so.
yeah, they were just basically so we could be show a scene where they're oh my god, I have to go out with him. So, how did you feel about the time machine part?
That is, it's just such a classic scene. It's so funny. I just love how Uncle Rico is so obsessed with, going back in time. He's like, I think he's like, I could have thrown, or I could throw this football up over those mountains, and he always talks about how he could have gone pro and he could have done all this stuff, and he just tries everything to go back in time. I think it's so funny.
The one thing about the uncle, and I saw this on one of the videos I was watching. This scene, I think it was right here, where Napoleon is showing up with his friend, and he takes the meat and throws him at his face. Oh, I can't find it.
That's so funny. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
The
I can't help but like literally cackle when I see that.
According to the actor, he actually threw that and hit him right in the face. It was actually him who threw that. So
I think that's later when that's a really great scene too.
yeah, what this?
When Rex
Uh,
Kwando, a few kids at my school dressed up as Rex Kwando for Halloween.
I forget the actor's name. He's been in a few other things. He was in Drew Carey's show for. He was one of and he was also in if you've ever seen it, Office Space too. Yeah, he's a pretty good actor. I can't remember his name, but he's always playing these. He's usually he usually plays on Drew Carey at the Drew Carey show. He was more of a stable person. So,
Oh, I
it,
love that scene. That's the scene where I don't know if you know. Yeah, there it is. The cheese keeps getting higher and higher when he's talking on the phone, and every time it like pans back, the cheese gets higher. I think that's so like little things like that make the movie really funny.
the there I can find it. Anything else in here? Yeah, there it is, right there. I was trying to get to him. Oh, never mind. This thing go. There we go. I get to it. Every time I get to it, it doesn't get to it. But yeah, there he is. There we go. Finally, we got him there. So, yeah, the voices he does are if you're ever seen the movie Office Space?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's another movie. It's done by Mike Judge. He's the guy who created Beavis and Butthead, and it's very good. And he play in Office Space. He plays like a kind of a redneck. Not, I don't know if redneck's the right word. Kind of a rednecky kind of a character, and he's friends with the main character of the movie, and he keeps on throwing out he's always giving advice to the main character, not always, but periodically giving advice to the character, and so um, it, I guess there's not more to add to him. It's just every time I see him, I always like his whatever performance he does, and just like this one, he was very good as well. So.
Yeah, he seems like he's really good at putting his all into this niche roles. You know what I'm saying?
hmm let me see. I got a piece of trivia here. It says the name Napoleon Dynamite is a pseudonym used by Elvis Costello for his 1986 album Blood and Chocolate. Executive producer Jeremy Cohen, is that his name? Coon, sorry, had stated the similarity is a coincidence, and that the producers were unaware of Costello's usage of the name until the film was in production. Hmm, that's interesting. Uh, I know Elvis Costello's. I know of him. I don't really know his music, so I wouldn't even be able to quote on that one. Um, Having the food plates spell out names in the opening credits was actor Aaron Rule's Kip's idea. The rest of the sequences were designed by Pablo Ferro. Pablo Ferro the guy who plays Pedro?
I'm not sure, but yeah, those the intro sequence is. I feel like that's such a good way to introduce like the movie and the characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, actually, he's not. The name I mentioned is not even. He's not even in a. He's not an actor at all. He might have been. He might have been a producer or something. I don't know. I'm looking at his credits. Here he is, right here. So you can see it as well. So, uh, Pablo Ferro. So he passed away recently too. A couple years ago. I don't see. What year was that again? 2004. I don't see him in here. Some crew. I'm not sure. Not sure what he was. I've never heard his name, so well maybe was he wasn't director, was he? No. Actor? No. Anyway, let's get back over here. So um the let me take a look at some of those opening scenes here with that. There we go.
That's so creative.
I can't remember. I've seen something like that before. I can't remember where. It is very original. For some reason, I want to say something not exactly the same, but something in a similar way was done back in the 1960s with a movie, and I can't remember what it was. It just has that feel. It almost feels like a 1960s movie intro when they do that. Certain kinds. So,
Yeah, that's really cool.
and
I do
also,
really love how like detailed everything is.
hmm and how the everything kind of flows together with that too. So
For sure.
the
Yeah, but the steak scene, I think it's later on. Um, I can't remember exactly where.
yeah,
Maybe I think maybe I don't know. I feel like it's before that, but I feel like since these scenes don't have like a
yeah, little.
very obvious timeline, it's kind of hard to remember which scenes are where, you know?
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh,
That's
it's that one. Make a little
for back or forward.
mm, maybe forward a little bit.
Is it
Oh
maybe
wait, no, it's this one.
it's right here because they're already sitting down, maybe, so it might be before this. Uh, no, maybe this.
And then that one where I think Napoleon threw a grapefruit at him.
Okay, yeah, it's fine. I try to find this is gonna take forever. It's like almost like finding a needle in a haystack. I said
Yeah.
it just keeps on jumping around. It's not smooth, unfortunately. So sorry about that. For those who remember the scene, yeah, where he smacks him right in there. Hold on a second. Let me see if there's any more trivia on. Oops, wait a minute. Sorry, I have to go back to my trivia page. I was on the wrong one. Okay. There's a deleted scene that shows that Napoleon gets a scratch ticket to win and won $10, which was originally shown in was that Palooka? Is that what that is? The Palooka, which is another movie. It says it was shown in this movie. I've never heard of that one. Have you heard of it?
I have not.
Okay, let me go back to. Oh, I can bring up the trivia again. Sorry. Um, where was that? Originally shown in Palooka. Oh no, I lost. Oh, here it is, right here. That was made. Okay, that was that was what made it. So he could afford the $12 suit for the dance, but not even the price was implied in the movie. Okay, so
That
it's just
makes sense. That would be fitting.
maybe you don't really need that. It's like it's kind of it's interesting, but it's not really needed for the movie. I can see why they took it out though. So
Yeah, but I feel like it's the same kind of thing with that cow testing the cow milk scene. It's not really it's funny, but it's not I feel like that whole movie is just a compilation of funny scenes that don't 100% connect all the time.
mhm. The scene where Uncle Rico hits. Oh, okay, took place in the face. Let me read it. I'm scaling. Sorry. The scene where Uncle Rico hits Napoleon in the face took 4 takes.
Four takes.
Did he actually hit him? I mean, are they talking about the scene where he hit him with the meat, or is it something else? Am I thinking of something else?
Yeah, it might be the scene where he throws the steak. But maybe that means it took 4 takes for him to hit him.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Not for he didn't have to get hit 4 times. Hopefully.
Let's see. Uncle Rico, played by what's his name? I can't read it. John Grise. Can't read it. Was actually not a vegetarian, despite the claims. Whenever he was wiping his mouth, he is spitting out the steak because he just does not eat red meat in real life. Okay, kind of boring. So, um, let's see. Deb's photo studio is actually the basement of the interior version of Napoleon's house. Yeah, these are. I'm kind of running out of trivia on this one. So anyway, how do as far as the overall movie itself, how would you rate this?
I would rate it it's kind of hard to I guess I would rate it for me. It's like a since it's such a staple movie for like my comedic um development, I guess I would say, and like just like my development in general. Um as like a teen, I guess. I would probably rate it a good 9 out of 10. but I could see how you could hate it if you watched it in like the wrong circumstances or at the wrong time or something like that. I feel like it's something that could leave a bad taste in your mouth easily. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess. I can't see people actually hating it, but maybe just not understanding it. Maybe that's my feel.
Maybe, yeah.
I can't see. I mean, the movie itself has such a weird, quirky feel to it. I guess people would hate it. I just can't imagine too many people um, outright hating it. I just feel it'd be more like I just don't get it kind of a like what was that all about? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, I'll go with I'll use the same rating you used. So, very good movie. I would definitely recommend it. I will have to say though that I wouldn't put it at the top of my list of favorite movies of all time though. So
Yeah, neither would I. I don't think I would even put it at I think it would be in like my top 10 of comedies just because maybe a little bit seniority, but
and based on what you said, so I want to go back to what you said earlier because you saw it when you were a teenager, or you were not quite a teenager, you were just about to be, right?
right.
So if you said if you saw it now, what would be the difference? What would you think?
I think well, like I don't know because for me it might sound a little immature, but like potty humor still gets me. I think it's funny. And like kind of outrageous memes. I guess not outrageous, but ones that probably shouldn't be funny, but they kind of are just because they're so dumb are kind of funny to me. Um, I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't know. I feel like maybe some of the jokes would be like kind of boring or a little more basic to me now, but yeah, that might be it. I feel like I could definitely still appreciate it, and I probably would still give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay. I I saw both times I saw it, I was already an adult, so I would say I probably if I saw it as a kid, I might be able to relate to it differently. It seems more. Do you think it's? I don't. I was going to say, do you think it's like a product of its time? Do you think people that like when you saw it, you were like at the right age? I'm trying to think if it came out like say like for people that were like older like me that saw it, trying to think if they would see it differently, if it would relate to them better, if to them like if I saw it when I was that age. I'm trying to figure that out. Like you talk about your parents, your mother didn't like it. Do you think if she was younger, she might have liked it when she saw it at your age?
Yeah, I think so. Just because I feel like when you are a preteen or like a teenager in general, it's just like everything just sucks, honestly, because everything is changing and you're not stable emotionally or physically or anything like that, and there's like all kinds of pressure. Um, but at the same time society still is like you're just a kid, don't worry about it, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, I was worried about everything. um and I don't know, it's just like a sucky time for for a lot of people. And so I feel like that being reflected, even if it is to the extreme, that being reflected in a movie is sort of comforting in a way. Especially if it's a funny movie, you can kind of it's almost like being able to laugh at yourself if you've ever had like a super awkward moment in school or something. You can kind of just laugh at yourself through this movie sort of.
Oh, okay, I could see that. Yeah, for me, if I saw it when I was this like say your age, I probably would have liked it. I don't think I would have related to it though. I just thought I probably would have thought it was a funny movie. So, um,
Yeah, and like both are totally valid.
yeah. The my life was a little different than what well, I guess when I was like about the same age as Napoleon. I was unfortunately my parents were going through a divorce, and I was kind of like living mostly on my own at that point. So, I was going through a different life than a lot of other people were at that like in their lifetime. So I lived with my dad, but my dad wasn't telling me what to do. So it was like we
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like you're already adults aren't like treating you like a kid, I guess.
right. In fact, a lot of people thought I was older than I was because of the way I dressed a lot of times. So, in fact, the way I actually got stopped when I was in high school, and they said, "Why are you in here? This is for students." I said, "I am a student," and the guy didn't believe I was a student there because of the way I looked. So, I wanted to bring this up before we wrap everything up. Here's Joe's apartment, the one I was telling you about. So I would recommend it, but it got a really poor rating, 5.5. I'm surprised it has that. The basically that's Jerry O'Connell. Like I said, he's usually pretty good in most of the things that I've seen him in. He was in a TV show called Sliders. We talked about that one a couple of episodes back, and all the cockroaches are all animated. They all talk and sing, and they fly. And they basically it's based on a short segment that MTV used to make during like they used to make little. I don't know if they still do. I don't watch it at all, but they used to make little short animated skits, and it was based on a skit where a guy brings his girlfriend home, and there's a bunch of cockroaches in his home, and it ruins the date for him. And the original skit was like maybe maybe a minute or two long at the most, but they made an entire movie out of it. So
That
uh,
sounds interesting for sure.
yeah, it's a fun movie. It depends. Some like I said, a lot of times I hear people talk about they say they don't like it. So I would that would definitely recommend it though for someone. Yeah, keep an open mind on it though. That's the important thing. So
Yeah.
but
I feel like whenever I see like bugs or I guess creepy crawlies in general kind of like talking on screen, I don't know why, but it always reminds me of those aliens that were hold on, let me think. The aliens from Men in Black that were like they were really scrawny and they I don't know, they were like
like yeah, like maybe a foot or two in height. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, yeah, I don't remember what they were called, but like I think you know what I'm talking about. The
Yes,
ones that were scrawny and they looked like they had really bad scoliosis and
and
they
they
were
were
like,
talked in unison a lot when they spoke, if I remember.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They all it always reminds me of that. I'm not sure why.
Oh, that's actually kind of a good comparison for this, from what I remember. I haven't seen this movie in a while, so but yeah, if one second, trying to sorry, I dropped my there we go, dropped my screen there. The yeah, it's I think maybe I don't know. I remember why people don't like it. Maybe it's because it was based on a skit that was only originally 2 minutes long, and they tried to make it into a full length movie, and maybe they felt like, well, you don't need to make it into a full length movie, kind of a thing. I don't even remember what the basic plot is. I do know that eventually they do reenact the scene where the girlfriend comes home, which is maybe that is kind of creepy. That's kind of disgusting, where there's cockroaches all over the. I think they use some real cockroaches in the movie sometimes, and
Ew.
so and
Cockroaches are icky.
I think that's why people are probably disgusted by it. So
Yeah, usually I don't mind seeing like bugs, just in general because I think bugs are pretty cool. Like spiders and stuff in my house. I don't really mind seeing spiders or I don't know. I don't really see any other kinds of bugs, I guess. But if I've never seen a like knock on wood, I've never seen a cockroach in my dwelling space, and I never want to. Those things are so ugly and
weird.
gross looking, and I don't know why, but those are just like I think it's because I know that they're like more indestructible than other animals and that or other bugs, and that just
I wouldn't say
is
indestructible is
gross.
the right thing. I would say more like this reproduce on a mass scale.
Ew.
That's the I lived in a house. I rented a room in a boarding house when I was younger, and there were cockroaches all over the house. I mean, they were just infested. And
No, that's so
it was
gross.
and I was so glad when I bought my first house. I moved out of there. The cockroaches did not come with me, thankfully. So. But I had some electronic equipment, and they actually nested inside the electronic equipment, and they would produce like sticky stuff, and they would ruin the
Ew,
electronic stuff. And my some of my electronic equipment got ruined because of that. It was so
that's so
disgusting.
gross. I guess in that situation, I would get like a couple lizards and just set them free in my
Oh,
house.
oh well, yeah. This unfortunately not all lizards. That a lot of them don't eat cockroaches, unfortunately. So
Dang, I would think that lizards would eat. I don't know. That's really gross.
yeah, the and the I went. What was it? They also leave an odor too, which is disgusting.
No, what? I had no idea.
Yeah, and one of the most disgusting things. Let me see if I can bring it up here. The cockroaches, the female cockroaches with their egg sacs.
Ew, ew, gross. I feel
Listen,
like the cockroaches and stink bugs. Stink bugs were a real problem in like my school in Maryland. There was like a stink bug season where they would just breeding up a storm. They were everywhere. It was so nasty. And then if you kill them, they're stinky. That's
Oh,
the problem.
that's gross.
Ugh,
Here's
and
a
they're ugly.
here's a
Ew.
so see this little thing protruding out the back? That's the egg sac right there. So they were all this. Yeah, it was. I'm glad I don't have to go through that. I will say this though, where I'm the house I have right now, there are cockroaches that periodically fly outside of my house.
They can fly?
Yeah, yeah. I was surprised that when I moved here, I'd never seen them fly until I moved here.
Ew, I
And
didn't know that.
uh,
They don't deserve the right to fly. That's too much power.
and fortunately, once in a while only one will get in my house, and well, it's very rare. Most of the time, I just see them flying outside. And it's like really gross. So,
Ew.
uh,
I'm glad we invented those screens for windows. That's a really good human invention that we've done.
yeah, unfortunately, sometimes my house they still see past somehow. I'm not sure how they do it. So, uh, once in a while I see something flying by and I look at it, it's like, oh God, it's one of those. It looks like the ones that fly by look like this one right here, kind of like this little thing right here.
Ew. Oh, and a cockroach. Maybe I'm really disgusted by cockroaches because of the same Men in Black movie. That was like he was like a cockroach guy, wasn't he? I feel
Oh,
like
the one at the end where he gets eaten, where
yeah.
yeah,
That
okay, yeah.
one that guy was like a cockroach into like a human skin or something. I don't
Yes,
know.
yes,
That
yeah,
was
he
really
was,
gross.
he was some sort of definitely some sort of insect or something. I haven't seen the movie in a while, but yeah, it's coming back to me now.
That
Like,
is so gross. Yeah, that was really gross.
well, let's go back to our question. See what we got here. I've not refreshed it, so I have no idea what we're going to get here. I do know one person, at least one person left a comment. I saw that.
Nice.
204 votes so far. It's pretty good. Do you make your own coffee at home? 72% with yes. 12% say I don't drink coffee. 10%
Interesting.
with no. And 3% with I prefer tea. And 2% with I don't care. Hmm.
I would expect more people, or less people to say that they don't drink coffee.
That's what I thought too. I didn't think it was that big of a thing. In fact, I remember when I was younger, there was like some news story. I don't know if it was real or not. They said that a lot of people have skipped drinking coffee and actually started drinking soda in the morning to get that caffeine kick instead.
Oh
So
no, that's so much worse.
let's see. Got two responses here from Brandon P. No, but I make my own sprunk. Okay, sprunk is the drink that's in Grand Theft Auto. So in case you're wondering, it's like their version of Sprite. They call it sprunk. So and then Sandeep says actually yes with a little smiley or a laughing face. So so
That's
we got
good. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, maybe not a lot of people, but I know a few people who really only like buy either pre-made coffee at the grocery store or they go out and get coffee every morning. I feel like either way, I don't really judge people, but it is pretty easy to make coffee at home.
interesting. I since I don't drink coffee, I don't know. I didn't realize there was that much of a difference there. So, as far as the pre-made coffee, what does that? How does that come? Is it? How does that work?
Well, like so there's you can make your own cold brew or your own iced coffee at home, but my best friend, she usually gets just like a brand of, I think it's called Stock, STOK. She gets just like iced coffee in a big bottle from them, and then
Hmm.
she just uses that throughout the week instead of like
Oh,
making her own. Or
really?
like you can also get those like little Starbucks ones that I'm pretty sure are like probably mostly sugar and milk, but
Wow.
maybe a little bit of caffeine in there. Um, and then I think Dunkin' Donuts also has come out with some kind of pre-made coffees. So,
Now, my friend Trevor, he's a friend I told you I've been friends since we were 10 years old. He when we got to be our teenage years, he was a die-hard coffee person. So he would come in like we used to do a radio show together back in the when we were in back in when we were early 20s, and we every day every time we come to do the radio show, he would actually come in with a huge coffee, this ridiculously large thing of coffee, and he just loved it. He just adored it. Coffee was his favorite. I don't know if it's still his favorite anymore. I don't, but I that he would basically 7-Eleven was his favorite place because it just they would let him fill up this big jug, not the regular coffee cups, but actually a jug of coffee whenever he went in there. So
Yeah, I feel like um right now my coffee like process, I have a French press. So I usually make French press in like the night before. Uh and like I press it and everything and then I pour it into two mason jars and I put it in the fridge so I can have cold coffee the next morning.
cold coffee.
Um,
Is that
because
really?
I like coffee with ice. I like iced coffee. Um, but I don't want to wait for it to cool down when it's hot, and it tastes about the same.
Interesting.
And
Interesting.
I like hot coffee every now and then, but it's not like my thing all the time.
Wow, I always thought of so wow. Okay, I always thought everyone liked hot coffee. Since I don't drink it, I don't know. So what I'm just curious. What got you hooked on, or what made you like coffee? Was it so? How did you? Were you reluctant at first? How did that work out?
I don't fully remember. It was probably something to do with like the massive trend of uh like preteen and teen girls drinking like frappuccinos from Starbucks. Probably had something to do with that. I know that I started drinking coffee when I was like 15, probably too early. Um 15 or 16 I started like actively drinking coffee every morning and I would drink the hot coffee. It just wasn't like my favorite and I started doing iced coffee. I started like getting iced coffee from places, and then I realized that I could probably just make it at home, just by putting it in the fridge the night before,
Hmm.
and it does work.
I remember. I think I was like 12 years old. My I was at my aunt and uncle's house. I was spending the night there, and just by my family. The rest of my family wasn't there. Just me and my cousin. I was visiting my cousin and everything. And I do remember waking up in the morning. My aunt and I were the only two people there, and she said to me, "Do you want coffee?" I said, I looked at her like, "No." I was like 12 years old. I was like, "No." I never even thought of it. It was the first time anyone ever asked me if I wanted to have coffee that I remember. So, but as I got older, I just never even thought of taking. I don't know. I just never did. I did get hooked on caffeine for a while by drinking a lot of soda. I have stopped doing that though. I haven't drank soda for a long time. But
That's good. Soda's like really full of sugar.
oh, and it's what's really disgusting. I had some old soda bottles I had to get rid of. I was trashing them, and the soda dried up inside. I was like, oh God, this is the stuff that's in my body if I were to drink this. Yeah.
Ew. There was I remember in my biology class when I was in high school, I had this teacher and he had been there for like a really long time. He was one of those cool teachers that's like older and like I don't know, he's just a cool guy. Um and he just had like a ledge above his desk with like a bunch of stuff on it and he had like a couple Coca-Cola bottles that were like allegedly they were from when the school first opened, which was like in the mid 90s.
Uh-huh.
So they were really old and gross Coca-Cola bottles. But he said it was a science experiment, and they looked really syrupy and nasty.
Oh, like the sodas are still in there is what you mean.
Yeah,
Oh goodness. Okay.
yeah,
Did they look like this? I'm trying like this bottle style right there.
yeah. It was like kind of. It was. I think they were still plastic,
Oh,
but
really? They weren't glass then. Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
right. But it was like I don't remember. I just remember they looked like just a little off. They still looked like kind of preserved. Like if you saw it, if you didn't know that they were so old, you probably wouldn't guess that they were old, but you know,
What was the experiment? Did he ever do anything with it? I'm just curious.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's just saying that so he could keep some Coca-Cola bottles from like a really long time ago full of Coke.
Okay, well, I guess we can go ahead and wrap everything up. So basically, we both are in agreement. I assume you are, that you would recommend Napoleon Dynamite to those who have not seen it.
Definitely.
And we will be back hopefully next week, and we'll have something else to talk about. And everyone, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching, everyone.